Good morning. Welcome, everyone, to the subcommittee markup for FY19 for the Interior, Environment, and the Related Agencies Appropriations Bill. This bill includes funding for all of the major federal land management agencies, the National Park Service, Bureau of Land Management, the Fish and Wildlife Service, the Forest Service, and the Environmental Protection Agency. I like to say that this subcommittee is about land, it's about water, it's about people. We got it all, right?
Right.
We got it all.
That's right for us. That's right.
It provides funding for essential Indian health, education, and resource management programs through the BIA and the Indian Health Service, and funding for important cultural institutions like the Smithsonian, the National Gallery of Art, and the National Endowment for the Arts and Humanities. The administration's request for the 2019 Interior Bill is approximately $28.3 billion, a roughly 22.5% reduction from the FY18 enacted level. The subcommittee's 302B allocation for FY19 is $35.85 billion, which is $600 million more than last year. Now, for some, you might say, wow, that's a sizable increase. But the subcommittee had certain program increases that could not be avoided. We had an additional $500 million for fire suppression. None of us would dispute that we must address the fire suppression costs. There was an additional $109 million for contract support costs in Indian country. Again, a clear requirement and appropriate that it be fully funded, and $115 million for staffing costs associated with new health care facilities operated by the IHS or by tribes under compact agreements. This bill adopts a similar approach to the FY18 Interior Bill by rejecting unwarranted decreases proposed in the budget and making investments in our highest priorities, especially infrastructure investment for the land management agencies, Indian country, and wastewater and drinking water improvements. For example, we built upon the $150 million increase provided for the National Park Service construction program. This is the largest percentage increase ever for this program by maintaining the increase from FY18, plus providing an additional $5 million. In the two main agencies that deliver services for the Indian community, BIA and Indian Health Services, we restored proposed cuts of over $1 billion to critical program funding for Indian country. We were able to increase funding for the IHS Facilities Program, which funds the construction, maintenance, and sanitation facilities improvements. We provided substantial funding for the BIA to help with the construction of Indian schools, irrigation systems, and public safety facilities. For both accounts, we provided the fully estimated level of contract support costs and maintain an indefinite appropriation account structure so that if these costs are higher than estimated, other programs won't be tapped to pay for them. In the IHS, we also provided $10 million in critical new funding to provide grants to tribes for combating the opioid crisis. The Centers for Disease Control has reported that American Indians and Alaska Natives consistently had the highest drug overdose death rate by race every year from 2008 to 15. When looking at opioids specifically, overdoses have increased fourfold during this time frame. For wildland fire management programs, we provided a total of $4.35 billion for the Department of Interior and the Forest Service. This fully funds the 10-year average for firefighting costs and provides $900 million in additional suppression funds above the 10-year average based on recent catastrophic seasons and the latest forecasting models. We had an oversight hearing in Energy last week about the fire forecast, and I can tell you, we want to make sure that these accounts are appropriately resourced. We took a common-sense approach to the EPA's budget and focused resources on programs that do concrete things to improve the quality of the environment for the public. The bill provides additional funding to states who've delegated responsibility for environmental programs. It provides slightly more than last year's level for the Clean Water and Drinking Water State Revolving Funds, which build critical water infrastructure in communities across the country. The WIFIA program, which leverages federal funds for water infrastructure projects, receives $63 million. When used in combination with the SRFs, the bill provides the EPA with a powerful suite of tools to improve the quality of life for people around the country. We provide $500 million for PILT funding, which is the fully estimated amount needed for this program in FY19. This maintains the subcommittee's commitment to fully meeting the needs of local communities for county roads, public safety, and the schools through the PILT program. LWCF, a priority for so many, receives $425 million, equal to the enacted level, including $124 million for the National Park Service stateside program, as well as additional funding for recreational access and the American Battlefield program. Unlike previous years, The bill does not include new policy provisions that were not in the FY18 enacted bill. This was an issue that Senator Udall and I worked on very directly, very closely with Chairman Shelby and Vice Chairman Leahy. But what we have done, colleagues, is we have assembled a package that both sides can support in committee with the ultimate goal of taking the bill to the Senate floor. Now, some might say that's what everybody says, but we haven't been able to do that in several years, in a good handful of years. In fact, this has not happened since fiscal year 2010. And I have made a commitment, and I know that Senator Udall, I don't want to speak for you, but I have said that we need to return to regular order around here, and I look forward to moving the Interior bill through the process in a fashion that allows all members of the Senate to have an opportunity to debate the bill and to offer amendments. So I want to thank my colleague, my friend, the ranking member, Senator Udall, for your help on this. You and your staff have been great to work with as we have shaped this bill, and it's a bill that I'm proud to say reflects the priorities of members on both sides of the aisle. Now, before I turn to Senator Udall, I would hope that if there's no objection, we would appreciate it if members could hold off on amendments until the full committee markup on Thursday. The subcommittee staff will be available to work with all of you in preparing a manager's package for that markup. So we would ask that you let us know as soon as possible if you have any amendments that you may wish to offer. And with that, again, Senator Udall, I so appreciate the good work of your staff and certainly that of mine. Leif and Emmy and Nana and Chris have done a great job working with your team. I know Rachel is not here, but she has I don't know if it's tutored your folks in the right way. I think everyone's been working arm in arm, and I appreciate that a great deal.